As the first decade of the 21st century comes to a close, the world's largest, most lucrative business plan competition is held, not in the United States or in any Western country, but in Communist China. Beyond the 1.3 billion Chinese, the competition goes largely unnoticed in the rest of the world. 120,000 entrepreneurs compete for prize money in excess of $5 million. The top winner will receive nearly $1.5 million to support their business plan, highlighting the explosion of entrepreneurial activity in Communist China and marking a revolutionary change in philosophy in the most populous nation on earth. And this time, the revolution will be televised.
That's the opening clip to Win in China, a fascinating documentary that offers great perspectives about entrepreneurship in China, perspectives based on a television show, the largest business plan competition of its kind that took place in China and went by the name Win in China. Joining me tonight, executive producer of that beautiful documentary, Bob Compton. Bob, thanks very much for joining me. I saw the film. It's very, very interesting. I must begin by asking you a question that struck me when I first heard about this film. How in heavens did you get into China and make a film about China without China having any negative response to it? The media there is known to be so closed.
Well, it was a very unusual circumstance. My director of the film, Ola Schell, his mother-in-law, I beg your pardon, his stepmother, was the co-producer of the show. And when they started to produce the show, the Chinese authorities offered him the opportunity to have completely unfettered access to the contestants, to the judges, and to the show itself. And so he shot the video for the full course of the first season of Win in China. And then we decided to make a film and got permission from the Chinese government to make a film without any interference on their part at all. So it was highly unusual, and I think it speaks to the confidence that they have that the show was, one, excellent, and two, that they're very proud of what they've accomplished with Win in China.
Bob, in fact, you not only have great footage of the show, but you have some great footage of China, which leads me to believe that you shot there extensively. You spoke with people in China, including one of the judges on that show, Jack Ma. That kind of access is unprecedented. I'm interested in knowing whether the Chinese government or its television arm, that CCTV, censored your documentary in any fashion whatsoever, both positively as well as negatively. So did they tell you that, hey, you can't use this stuff, you can't shoot these cities, you can't talk to these people? Or, on the other hand, did they pressure you to say you must portray a positive image of entrepreneurship in China? Any such kind of pressure?
No, there was no pressure whatsoever. In fact, they were completely open. They allowed us complete access to the judges, Jack Ma being a prime example. They also gave us complete access to their archival footage, which in my mind, as an executive producer, was almost priceless. So a lot of the footage you see in the film, coming from the 40s and 50s and 1960s and 70s, is actually provided to them by CCC, or provided to us by CCC TV, which was a total surprise.
And no
but they influenced us neither way.
Neither way. No pressure to ensure that you portrayed a positive image of China.
They did not. And as you know, I think one of the clips you're going to show portrays a rather aggressive image of one of the contestants, and they were completely fine with that.
All right, I'm going to play a clip from your film, Bob, a very interesting clip of a participant that went by the name Wolf. He's a young entrepreneur in the lingerie business. Here it is.
Weifeng, China, a bleak industrial city in the Shandong province. Like the rest of China, vast construction and business is booming. Located 500 miles from Beijing, Weifeng is known as the home of the largest diesel engine factory in the nation, but is also the headquarters of Zhou Yu, a hard-nosed entrepreneur with big dreams of becoming the premier lingerie baron in China. Uneducated but nicknamed the Wolf for his predatory business style, he started his company with less than $12,000, and is entering Win in China with the hopes of earning enough capital to expand his small women's undergarment company into the largest one in China, one that will one day rival the likes of Victoria's Secret.
你应该要有些更，因为他说你的理想是十分的宏大的，他说你必须要有更多的平台，你来实施，否则的话你不会借势，就是不会有更大的平台的话，他说我们认为是句空话。哎，无意当中我就看到有赢在中国，这个报名啊，我就去了，啊，我觉得假如能得到名次的话，应该会给我一个更大的平台。
你那个毕业以后啊，到现在为止的工作经历，做了些什么工作？
第一个工作是在那个一个国营企业里当工人，第二个工作是在一个中美合资企业里面的来做销售，第三个工作就是我目前自己一直在创办的这个企业，已经9年了。谢谢。
这是什么个企业？你做什么东西？
做那个女性用品，胸围、底裤还有家居服类的。
市场从哪儿出来？你怎么想的？
就为什么？因为这个，就我在创办企业前一个企业，我是做销售化妆品的。别人说这个赚女性的钱和赚小孩的钱比较容易。完出来了。
Well, that's the story of Zhou Yu, a budding lingerie entrepreneur in China. And he goes by the name The Wolf. I won't tell you whether he wins this competition or not. For that, you'll have to see or watch the DVD. But what fabulous aggression, Bob. I mean, that's the unexpected part, right? We all expected that there would be a growing wave of capitalist-led entrepreneurship or capitalist-style entrepreneurship in China, thanks to the opening up of that economy over the last 2 or 3 decades. But this kind of aggression in a young entrepreneur is just very interesting to watch in terms of what it tells you culturally.
I think, and that segment tells you actually a lot of things culturally. One, the Wolf is very aggressive, and you see that throughout the competition. But it's also, his business is a very low-tech business. And that's one of the desires of the Chinese government, is to inspire really their entire population to create new ventures, not necessarily all high-tech ventures, but new ventures across the entire economy, because that's what's going to create the jobs. It also, I think, shows you that the Chinese have a terrific sense of humor as well.
Bob, you have, Bob, you have great experience in the U.S., you're invested in India, and now you're looking at investing in China. What does the entrepreneurship story in China, or how is it different from the one that you've seen in India and the one, of course, that you've experienced firsthand in the U.S., whether it's on the East Coast or in Silicon Valley?
Well, I've invested in a number of companies in India. Indian Math Online being one, which provides online math tutoring. And what I find in India is there is, relative to the U.S. or relative to China, there's more of an interest coming out of the university of getting a job with a well-known company, and less of an interest or less of an option of creating their own companies. What I see in China, even more so than I see in the U.S., is an entrepreneurial spirit and a willingness to take risk, and almost a lack of fear of failure that I don't really see in any other country that I've traveled in across the world. And that I think is an important point for Indians and for Americans to realize. The Chinese are very serious about building the entrepreneurial sector of their economy. They're investing billions of dollars, lots of human resources in universities, in incubators, in research parks, and in things like shows like Win in China. They are really trying to elevate and change the mindset of their people that entrepreneurship is not only a viable career opportunity or career option, but perhaps the best career option, because the jobs are not going to be there in the established companies. And so I think for India and for the world, we need to be aware of this. I wasn't aware of it until I had spent time in China. I'm investing in China right now. I've invested in BYD, the electric car company there. I've invested in 3 of the largest alternative energy companies in China. China now controls 40% of the global solar panel market, whereas 20 years ago they controlled 0%. So things are moving very fast in China in the entrepreneurial sector, and it really is important for all countries, but particularly for the major economic powers, America and India and the European Union, to be aware of that and to really rise to the challenge.
When does the DVD go on sale in India, Bob?
The DVD goes on sale in India tomorrow.
That's fabulous. I must urge all of you to go out there and get one. It provides a great, very interesting insight into Chinese entrepreneurship. Bob Compton, thank you so much for your time. Fabulous film once again, so congratulations to you and your entire team. And thank you for being with us on CNBC TV.